Welcome back, Wolfpack Brawlers here, and we have a battle from Vader in the middle of our Fan Friday, so let's see how this ends up playing out. Now, I think that's Beheeyem, might be Elgium. See, like, I haven't seen the Pokemon on this guy's team in a while, so we might get something really interesting. Also, the opponent bringing the Aggron, most likely Mega Aggron, and it is going to be Rhyperior, and it is Beheeyem with Gengar, so a lot of wildness on the field right now, and it can go anywhere. So Aggron, we have a pretty beefy defensive tank that's not going to take that much damage from super effective hits. But Gengar has Energy Ball, so that's going to hit Rhyperior. 4 times damage, not going to be enough to knock it out. So that just helps right there with that solid rock ability. And then Earthquake, though, I don't think it's going to be enough. No, Rhyperior goes down. I would like to imagine barely, but I think it was a strong enough hit. Aggron is a very powerful Mega. So there is the Trick Room on Beheeyem. That Energy Ball, I guess that's really good tech on the Gengar. It works for things like Swampert and Gastrodon, so that could work out. But we do have Mega Sableye. So now we get to look forward to whatever Mega Sableye is up to. Could do a lot of things. It has that Prankster, but it is going to use Fake Out, and it does have a couple of turns of Trick Room. So we are going to shut down the Aggron for this turn. Gengar with the Sucker Punch. That's unusual. This is quite the unusual Gengar moveset, but it does get to make use of that. And it is a weakness policy on Beheeyem. Oh, and it's going to get a free Psychic on Gengar because of it. Beheeyem has a lot of power, and I think it has... Does Analytic work after a priority move like that? Because it also has Analytics, so I mean, that just might be enough, boom, KO right there. But now that the weakness policy is procced, will Sableye try to psych that up? No, it goes for the Swagger. So Aggron actually avoiding the Swagger. Beheeyem with the Recover, going to get some health back. Alright. This is something else. So that's going to be the avoid from the Iron Tail, and then Rain Dance being set up by the Blastoise. We're in something right here. This is a pretty this is like, well, not even back and forth, this is just interesting. So now we have Swagger that's going to play onto the Aggron, going to raise the attack. But now if Aggron hits itself, that could go pretty well, and Beheeyem going to throw out the Psychic on the Blastoise. So going to try to, wow, that damage. Yeah, Beheeyem doesn't have like 130 something base special attack, so it sets Trick Room like a monster, and then it can throw out some huge hits, but it doesn't survive the move right there from Aggron. And that's going to be Ice Beam onto Sableye. So critical hit, going to do a little bit of damage. Blastoise. Alright, so it sets up the Rain for the Rain Dance, and it also has leftovers, so it does get a decent amount of health at the end of the turn. If it had Scald, it would be doing more damage because that Rain boosting. So Reuniclus comes in, and Sableye is going to Foul Play. So Foul Play Swagger combo, that's going to obliterate Aggron right there. My goodness. And then we have Reuniclus with the Psychic. Is it going to be enough damage to pick off the Blastoise? No. So tanky. And then Ice Beam, that's going to hit the Sableye, which has been causing quite a bit of problems, but not going to do enough. And then the Rain Dish healing up with the leftovers on Blastoise. Alright, so if Blastoise did have Yawn in theory, wouldn't be able to do it against the Sableye, but Trick Room gets reset. I would just kind of see how this plays out, because, I mean, that's so sick with this Sableye right now. It's just going to be really tanky. So Thunder and Rain on the Sableye. Not going to be enough to knock it out. Blastoise with the Ice Beam. Oh, he decided to switch up. He thought that the Thunder was going to be enough. Sableye going to get off the Swagger right there. And it looks like Reuniclus might be going for that Trick Room. Just getting everything back right there. So Zebstrika is confused. There's the Trick Room. I mean, you Foul Play into that. Zebstrika hits itself. That's going to be a KO. Trick Room on the Blastoise means that you do get the Psychic, and that could be enough to finish it off. So the end turn right here could be coming up, and it might get a little interesting. So that's going to be leftovers finishing off, and then just tons of heal across the board. So Zebstrika is going to show something right, and that's a Foul Play. Alright, so Sableye, yeah, it's a very slow Pokemon. Foul Play, enough to straight up knock it out. Wow, that +2 indeed from the Swagger into that combo. And then Psychic finishes off Blastoise. Oh, critical hit. Probably didn't matter too much. I know that the crit on Aggron was pretty serious, but again, Aggron doesn't resist it, but it does have a lot of defense, and it could have hit itself in confusion. Either way, the game, that was a lot of damage. So here's the thing, that was Vader's first ranked double battle with this set. So just testing it out and getting a really good lead right there. However, we do have some more battles to check out. And because of that, let's go and see how this works with the other ones. He said he won 4 in a row, so we could probably like go through all the codes and trace that. But let's go to this one, which is the last one. So that way we'll have a higher up ranking, which means hopefully better opponents. Because yeah, the opponent, you know, a little bit of questionable things right there for sure. And now we just get to see what happens when it ends up getting stepped up. Now the opponent though, for all of the weirdness that the opponent brought, I'm trying to like talk and do both of these. For all the weirdness the opponent brought, it actually worked just right. Oh wait, Beheeyem was doing so much damage because of the weakness policy proc. There we go. Alright, so let's just go straight into this. Yeah, the opponent isn't messing around anymore. We got the Thunderous, and we just really go hard after that. So, yeah, I think there was Milotic as well, and just legendary shenanigans. So camera up Thunderous. That's an interesting setup, and of course they're going to be shiny. Of course they are going to be shiny, and that's going to be Mega Camera Up. So, I don't see any Trick Room set up. Is Tailwind, Thunderous doesn't get Tailwind, so there's really no way of like augmenting this camera up. He's just going to go in for the damage. Alright, Thunderous has agility. Like Psych Up agility? What are we going to see? Rhyperior's going throughout the Rock Slide though. So actually Eruption, probably not going to be the best. Heat Wave would be a better situation. And Camera Up does get the flinch though, and Beheeyem does set up the Trick Room. So with the Trick Room, just going to really shut down anything. Thunderous doesn't have the Prankster ability when it's in Therian form. So yeah, just completely destroyed by that Trick Room right there. And now Cresselia comes in to try to deal with what's going on, and Hidden Power Camera Up. What? It's shiny, it has Hidden Power Ice. For real? Yeah, that's definitely a hacked Pokemon. So that's going, maybe Hidden Power Grass. Either way, using Hidden Power and shiny Mega Camera Up is kind of questionable right there. So Rock Slide, going to do some damage on top of that Psychic. Not enough to knock out the Camera Up. Hidden Power going to be headed for Rhyperior once again, and that is going to convert the 2-hit KO right there. So Rhyperior does go down, but I mean, Beheeyem has Shadow Ball now, so Shadow Ball is going to split the damage onto Cresselia. We still have the turns of Trick Room. Critical Hit does a little bit of damage. Special Defense Drop could come in big though, and there's leftovers. Oh no. Weakness Policy Cresselia? And then it goes for the Calm Mind. Alright, so Cresselia is suddenly +3 and also back on neutral special defense. So that's the biggest threat on the field, potentially. Now the weird thing is, Camera Up actually kind of gets benefit from the Trick Room, except it's a Trick Room team going against it, so the objective is to still remain slower than this Camera Up. So that's going to be the Mega Sableye. Are we going to see the Fake Out again? Alright, so Sableye just carries that Fake Out. Going to hit the Camera Up. Not going to be enough to finish up the Camera Up, but it is going to shut it down. Beheeyem with that Shadow Ball. It needs to count on this Cresselia. And it's not going to be enough damage. So now Cresselia, ooh. I think Cresselia just reached way too far. That's some greed right there. Maybe Cresselia wasn't expecting the Fake Out flinch and was expecting to just like finish off the opposing team pretty hard. So Sableye, oh, it's even got Shadow Sneak. So Shadow Sneak going to get Camera Up. You're just playing that priority game. The Beheeyem gets to outspeed and finish off the Cresselia. So that does work out. I mean, for an interesting, I want to see Rhyperior do more, but Rhyperior seems to get shut out by like super effective hits. There's a Twisted Dimensions return normal, but Thunderous, you know, you just set up the Trick Room on Thunderous again, and you'll be fine. And Virizion, so yeah, it was just a lot of legendary Pokemon. Virizion comes on, and that's what we got. So Calm Mind on Virizion, so much setup is trying to go on right here. But yeah, like this is almost like, I wanted to say jank, like this is a jank Trick Room team, but it's an effective jank Trick Room team. So saying that's jank is disrespectful to the Trick Room. So it's going to survive the Thunderbolt, even with all that Life Orb damage. Beheeyem just converting Psychic, doesn't care, just wants the Thunderous gone. And now we get to see what happens to the Calm Mind Virizion with what Sableye's going to be. Yeah, there's Swagger, alright. Sableye, he's got Swagger, just going to throw out the Swagger and see what happens. It could hit itself, and since it's boosting special defense, really, yeah, it's just going to do that damage. Also, we still have a Pokemon left. So Virizion is confused, going to hit itself in confusion. Not doing a lot of damage, but Beheeyem has to recover. Takes that free turn and runs with it. So now Virizion is going to have to dedicate, but Sableye Foul Play. Is it going to work? Ooh, I was about to say, I don't want to see that much. Oh, Justified. That's interesting right there, because of the Justified, Foul Play is actually going to do more damage to Virizion and has a better chance of hitting itself in confusion for more damage. So it does get the Giga Drain, and it is going to hit Beheeyem with the Giga Drain. +1 isn't going to be enough. but it does get a lot of health back. So Beheeyem with the Psychic, that's super effective. And then after that, you know, Foul Play. I think it might edge in just enough damage. And interestingly enough, yeah, even with the not very effective hit, I don't think without the Justified that would have happened. So that's something really interesting right there. So the Justified special attacker actually getting harmed by the Justified over Foul Play to a degree? Huh. So yeah, like I said, oh, there's also Dusclops on the team. Gosh, if Dusclops comes in under that Trick Room, that could be ferocious. So yeah, I want to see Rhyperior do more. I really like Rhyperior. I use it a lot in the 4th generation and quite a bit in the 5th generation. I think it's a really powerful Pokemon, especially on that Trick Room, but it keeps going down beforehand. Just slap on Protect and make sure that thing survives. That's all I gotta say to you, Vader. Other than that, the Sableye, Swagplay, very powerful. Swagplay coming through right there under the Trick Room with a beefy Pokemon like Sableye. Fake out Shadow Sneak. I would like to have Sustain in there, but you got it covered. So it ends up working out, and that's what we have. So hope you guys enjoyed the battle. That's what we have from Vader, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.